Okay. So I'm Miss Haze, and I have been an armed bodyguard for 16 plus years. And for the later half of that 8 years, 8 plus years, I've been a professional dominatrix, and I've been doing it here in Denver. I'm sitting here with one of my domination clients, and he and I wanted to talk about our experience when it first started, why he reached out to me, because his success story I think is very unique in that he's not a fetish or kink or any type of person that would normally reach out to me. He's quite you know regular kind of guy, and the thing or issue and problem that he has, I think a lot of people face on a regular basis, and they have issues with coping with and dealing with. And so I brought him in, and I would like to kind of just share a lot of what he went through, why he reached out, why he views himself as a success story to some degree, and kind of where that journey has taken him and I. And then I just kind of wanted to shed some light on his story in general. So talk to me. Let's dive into why you reached out to me in the first place. I guess we should start there.
So when I first reached out to you, it was recently after I had a seizure,
Oh yeah, that's right.
and I had fallen off my forklift actually and busted my teeth open for the second time in my life. And then I think a couple days later actually is when I had the seizure and my daughter saw, and I went to the emergency room and they did all kinds of tests on me and told me I had emphysema, and I've been smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day at the time.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And they said that I had all kinds of medical issues, and basically, if I didn't get my life together, I wasn't going to be around long enough to see my kid graduate high school. And
Yeah.
like I tried myself, and I failed, and I failed, and like I would smoke a cigarette and hate myself for it, and like I couldn't stop myself, and I knew I needed some help, and
Yeah.
somebody adjusted, sorry,
You're good.
suggested like AA, like,
Oh yeah, that's right.
and like when I told them I only had a cigarette problem, they basically laughed at me. But I looked at the steps, and like one of the very first step is admitting you can't do it by yourself and turning yourself over to a higher power or whatever, and
For sure.
seeking out help. And I think that's why when I first reached out,
It made sense.
right?
You knew, well, that was one of those, like, I know I can do it by myself, which makes sense because I think all that resonates with everybody. Like, I don't think there's anything that anyone really feels confidently that they can conquer by themselves, especially, I mean, the addiction related stuff is difficult. You know what I mean? That you can't really do on your own. I mean, you really can, but
It's hard.
it is. It's very difficult.
There's a reason why there's a 12-step program, and
So, no joke.
like it was killing me. I would smoke and I could feel it hurt my lungs, and I still could not stop myself. And
Yeah, that's scary.
I grew up going to Catholic school and playing football, so I knew I needed some discipline in my life. Like dedication and discipline really are the keys to all things.
Right.
I just knew I
Right. So
couldn't
you
do it
so you
myself.
reached out, and we established that it was just that simple adjustment that you were having a very difficult time making.
Right.
Yeah. And holding yourself to it and accountable, I think, is what most people struggle with. Like, I can say I can do this, or I can say I don't want to do this, or I don't want to smoke. I only want to smoke a few times a day or whatever. But like what we actually do, like we'll just do it without even thinking.
Right.
And it's very, very, very difficult to be that aware all the time, because we do so many things on autopilot that it just takes over. So we dove into that kind of stuff, and then we kind of dabbled in why he's addicted to smoking and what type of what type of, punishment's going to respond well? What's going to resonate with him? What's he motivated by? And then we kind of broke that down, and then I was very consistent.
Very consistent.
Very consistent with trying to correct the behavior when he would fall back and take that step backwards and still smoke or whatever, and we would try and handle the punishments here as he would respond to them, and then you can kind of push people in a lot of these uncomfortable scenarios that you can't really do in therapy. We can talk about our feelings and we can go through all of those things and practice what it would be like, in those scenarios, but being thrown into those atmospheres and environments where you are uncomfortable and you are physically going through that switch and changing your mindset, or at least your perspective, to I don't want to do this anymore. Like I can't do this. I don't want to feel this again, or however the uncomfortable feeling is being processed by you. It has to mean something so that you do remember it later when you're on autopilot to some degree, right?
Right. And like after the sessions, it would definitely be uncomfortable set for a couple of days, and I definitely didn't sleep on my backside and like that. That's because you think about smoking and then you sit down and it makes you remember, like, oh, I can't do that.
I can't do that.
That's not okay.
Do that. Right. No, you're absolutely right. So there's this remembering, of the punishment to some degree, and being accountable even after the fact.
And having somebody hold you accountable is a blessing, and that's.
No, I agree, and we can't always be honest with ourselves.
Right.
Like most people can't do that. Like I mean, I can't even do it. Like I'm a procrastinator. I do all kinds of shit last minute. Sometimes I do the best work last minute, just on a
under pressure,
creative basis. Yeah, sometimes it is. Sometimes you can really, really improv and throw something together last minute that stands the test of time. But most of the time, everything really needs to be planned. And being able to control this environment for a lot of people, I kind of break it down more or less as the next step after therapy, because people need to know that, like, okay, once I talk about it, then there's this practice phase that I then need to figure out how I feel in it. And that's important. So how long have we sessioned? Or it's been
about 2 years, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's been a little over 2 years. And it started, you were having a lot of medical issues, and then so those medical issues, they don't go away. Like nobody's medical issues really go away, I would say. I mean, I'd be fascinated at some things you can change, but for the most part, yours are very complicated.
Right.
And they're not going to go away. And the only way that you can figure out how to live comfortably is to cut out some of the habits that you have started. Yeah, that are technically killing you, and are taking things away from you, or will be, soon, if you don't change this thing. And I think you would feel differently about this if you were not a father.
Yeah. And I do want to live long enough to see my kid go to college. And
yeah, man, we all do.
When you become a parent, life's no longer about you. You're not number one priority anymore. And I grew up without my father, and I want my kid to go through it. And that was a lot of the motivation too.
It is, and we talked a lot about her in the sessions, because that for most people is obviously enough motivation to change, but we have to be very strategic in how we use that motivation. And so we used her in a lot of different ways to remind you, what you were truly valuing and why. And then we were trying to curve your behavior throughout the day based on that feeling.
You had me put her picture in my cigarette pack.
Yeah, we had that. do a couple of different exercises, and
Right.
and it does help if you're more aware than on
Right.
autopilot, right? Does it
Right.
help disrupt that, you think?
Yeah, well, when you see it, you think about it. You definitely like. You have to stop. You have to move the picture to get the cigarette, so it's not just
Yeah.
autopilot, I guess.
Right, you do. There is that moment
Right.
that you choose to be very aware and second guess that decision, um, and then be able to stand with your decision,
Right.
and either put them away or put them down, or okay, I'm only gonna smoke 4 today. 4 is my limit, or whatever it is, and we've adjusted that based on what you know you can cope with. But you can't just, there's a cold turkey. I think a lot of people think that, like, I have to be able to do it that way, there's no other way, but like, because of all these chemicals and stuff, like, it's very difficult to do that.
It is.
It's so difficult to be able to just be like, yeah, sure, I don't need this anymore, piece of cake.
And that was the thing the doctor told me too, because he told me to smoke the American spirits because they don't have the chemicals in it.
That's
But
right.
I would literally be smoking a cigarette, still jonesing a cigarette with the cigarette in my hand, like it didn't.
Right.
So
It
it
doesn't
definitely
matter.
was a chemical addiction.
Yes. Well, and yeah. And that's obviously affecting your body. It's going to affect how you think, how you respond, how jittery you are, how you react to stress, like even how you smoke. We smoke a lot more when we're stressed, and like it just makes us more jittery. So we end up in this really bad cycle. I speak from experience because I've definitely smoked, and it's a horrible habit to try and cut out, or anytime it fluctuates going up or down, we really don't get to choose how we respond, because our bodies are literally like being triggered by this chemical, and we're just on autopilot, so we don't even realize we smoke more and more and more until it's like a health hazard.
Too, I can see where all your money went.
Right? Oh my gosh, no joke. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
$80 a week. I can't like.
Ooh.
I don't even know how I afforded that now that I look back at it. But
Right? Isn't that crazy?
I had a much better job then, but
Yeah.
that is crazy. Like I couldn't these
No,
days.
it is. It is. It's difficult. It's crazy the amount of money and energy that goes into something like that. Excuse me. So we saw each other for a couple years, and we've stepped backwards, and we've adjusted the expectation as far as like what you're expected to not do, as far as like setting that limit, like, you're only going to smoke so many a day, and then whether you upheld it or didn't, we just kind of adjusted as we move forward. And I mean, I have a zero tolerance, but if I was too hard on you, because you have a very high pain tolerance, but was everything that we did on a consistent basis, would you say that it is helpful or hurtful?
I think it was very helpful. I mean, what do you mean
good.
hurtful? Like it hurt. But
Yeah. Of course, it's supposed to. I agree with you. Yes, and I'll double down on that. Yes, I did. I created a lot of pain on purpose.
But I think you probably could have went a little harder, to be honest. But
I agree.
I do feel like I do have a super high pain tolerance.
Yeah, you do. You do, and it was very visible, and I. Would you say that I pushed you past your breaking point, or
Never?
no? Right, and that's the point. Well, that's the point in all of this. Like, if I broke you, if I went out of my way to.
And I thought maybe if you gave it to me bad enough, I would cry. That would, like, you could snap your fingers and I'd just do whatever you wanted after that. But I don't also think I'm capable of crying.
Well, you are, but I don't think by me. Like, I'm sure I could find a way to make you cry, but like, that's not resolving anything. Like, that's not the point of any of this.
When I was at Catholic school, they wouldn't stop till you cried. That's how they knew they got to you. Like,
right.
That's when the point was made.
That's when you break. Right. Yes, correct. Right. And I don't need to reprogram you in that way or punish you to that degree, because you've already experienced it.
Right.
You've already gone through that, and it's already a trauma in your head. So like that feeling,
you don't feel
that's not necessary to reenact.
you don't feel like I responded to it well, or you don't?
No, you responded to everything well. I want your opinion because I really do. I want to know, like, I want to know in your own words, like, how it helped you, because I definitely want to make sure that it wasn't hurtful. I know it wasn't, but
Right.
for the cameras, like, you have to explain why it was. And just in that, because, or in that, I should say, the that point being that it's the uncomfortableness, the uncomfortable
Right.
part of this is so crucial that, like, I have to dance. I have to dance behind your breaking point, and I have to create this uncomfortable feeling, but it can't be so uncomfortable that I push you over the edge. It has to be just in that realm of keeping you honest,
Right.
right? And I think that resonates with a lot of people, because I can't tell you how many people struggle with just that in itself, that self-control.
Self-control is hard.
It's very hard. It's ridiculously hard for any and everybody. And it doesn't matter what it's about. Food, like anything, any and everything. I feel like we all struggle with that. We are negotiating constantly
We
internally.
Comfort.
Yeah,
Anything
for sure.
that's easy.
Yes, we do. We bounce around in that comfort or coping. And I feel like I pushed you, but I pushed you just enough to where we resolved a lot of the programming that you were internally fighting with. And then you kind of needed me to hotwire you in a different way, and then kind of keep you on a different path. And I feel like we were successful in that. I can't
Very
stop
successful.
life happening, but I can
Right.
try and help you figure out different ways or different tools to use to not react to things. And that's been successful and not successful. Like, you still have, so, well, let's talk about, because I would say that you have anger issues.
I would say that might be an understatement.
Okay. Okay, go ahead, explain.
I'm not sure how to explain it. I came up in what I can and can't say, to be honest. But I came up with a very violent family.
Okay.
One of my first memories in life was a horrible experience, and I see my brother do things to a man that nobody should do to anybody, and
Very violent.
very, very violent.
Very violent. You saw a lot of really bad stuff as a kid that doesn't need to, like, stuff that police officers and crime scene investigators have seen. We'll just say that.
Before I had hair on my pencil, and
Right.
so it was very traumatizing, and we were raised to definitely respect. You don't disrespect a man unless you're ready to fight, and
Right.
so I would say I definitely don't tolerate disrespect well, and I am very quick to violence, and I can react and black out, and kind of the deal's done before I realize what I'm doing. But
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So we have this reactive type of behavior too that is very impulse based. And it was another really big problem because he's dealing with a lot of health issues that.
the stress and overreacting isn't helping.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. And all of those are just going to make it worse or put your life in danger to some degree.
My freedom.
Yes, and your freedom. We can definitely spend some time behind bars for fighting and doing all kinds of bad things, or just reacting poorly, I guess I would say.
And I think some of it too, being raised by that kind of family, like you're 14, 16 years old before you realize that's not normal.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so we as adults, we end up having to reprogram that part of us. And we don't really figure it out until we're later. Until later. Because we haven't figured it. Like, we have to look back and we have to figure out what our triggers are. We have to figure out why we felt that way. We have, like, our version of that story is so filtered through so many different things and feelings, and figuring that out when you're older, figuring that out when you're older, it changes a lot of stuff. And it should change how we react to the same triggers. So that's all we're trying to do as adults, I think, is reprogram ourselves. And
Right.
if it takes assistance, it's good to have that. I liked the idea of this interview with you because I do think that you are a very unique success story in that you're not a normal domination customer or client. You're a very regular person. I wouldn't say that, like,
Right.
when we did the evaluation, I wouldn't say that there was anything like obviously kinky or taboo or fetishy or anything like that about you. I wouldn't describe, any of the regular things I get asked to do.
Right.
They weren't up your alley. They weren't interested in anything weird so it was a very simple, I'm having trouble with this. I need someone to help me with this. Can you be that person? Can you hold me to it?
You were definitely amazing. You were my therapist. You were my life coach. You were
Yeah.
my disciplinarian. Like, you were literally everything I needed. And I honestly might not be here today if it wasn't for you. Like, that's a fact. Like,
That I agree with you, and just in that we did so much.
it's,
We did so much work over a long period of time, and your life had taken so many crazy turns.
from the house fire to the seizure to, like, the past few years of my life have just been out of control. And, like, one hit after another. But no, and actually I was going to say, like, the doctor says that my lungs are 8-9 months ahead of where they expected them to be at this point right now. And it's,
Really?
yeah, if I was still smoking 2 packs a day, I would not be here right now.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
a
no.
fact.
Oh, man, no.
And I do feel better. Like, there's still days I wake up and cough up my lungs a little bit, and
Well, you got to get it out, man. It's still there.
but I can go up and down the stairs. I'm talking too fast on. I could go.
You're okay.
I could go up and down the stairs better than I ever did. I feel better. I can run with my kid.
Yeah.
Not as much as I want to yet, but like, I definitely feel better.
Not yet, but
Yeah.
the whole thing is.
And
a
mentally
180.
too. Yeah.
What?
And mentally too.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, you should. Yeah, talk about that. It is. I think. Well, and a lot of the stuff that I end up doing is a mixture of the life coach stuff, the therapy, and then this odd way of exposure therapy for a lot of people, just because it's not supposed to make you comfortable. I'm supposed to build trust with people, and then I try and make them uncomfortable in these scenarios so that I can test their fight, flight, fawn, or flee responses. Wait, let's see, fight.
I didn't know there was
Flight?
anywhere in fight or flight.
Well, I mean, it's fight or flight really is what we're triggering in, but you have fawn and freeze as another. There's 4.
So let me ask you, what did you see from me?
Well,
Be
so
honest.
you did a lot of fawning or freezing, where in that you would go with it even if you were uncomfortable.
Right.
You wouldn't fight or flee.
I'm not capable of fighting a female though. Like,
I know, right? Yes. So your idea of authority or your respect for authority was already there. Like, I just needed to hone in on it and then hold you accountable for your actions. Like, you already had that going. Like, you already had that really strong structure of, this respect that, that we had to kind of beat out of you.
I remember every one.
Yes, we had to beat it out of you.
It clearly worked. Like,
Well,
no
and yes, and
complaints,
it did, and I didn't push you too far, because that would have obviously broken the whole system down, and it wouldn't have resonated. You would have just left upset and re-traumatized.
I don't know
So
if I
we
could
do. I'm glad we didn't do
re-traumatize
that.
pretty sure that whole center of my brain shut all the way off.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's so the whole reprogramming of that aspect of it is it's that uncomfortable feeling, and it's supposed to resonate well with everybody because that's what you're doing is you're trying to get them to change how they're responding to these things,
Right.
or just adapt, think outside the box. Think before they actually act. Like just be aware of that, instead of just instinctually, reacting out of emotion per se.
Right.
So we want you, right? I was making you very mindful of, your emotions and how you could be triggered. It doesn't work all the time, like we've found out over the years,
Right.
but for the most part, you had to figure out ways that would work for you and then be consistent when I wasn't there.
Right.
Like I could get you on track and then, we get to a certain point and then it's a you call.
Right.
You have to be honest with yourself.
And like that's the other thing, like I did have to be honest with you. I can't lie to you, it's not gonna work, and I definitely didn't want to come here and tell you I messed up. Like
Yeah.
there was a few times, but
I agree. Let's talk about that because you didn't you didn't want to lie and tell me that everything was going great, but you also didn't want to tell me the truth. So
I always told you the truth.
I know, but tell me why you did, because we should talk about that, because you still got a punishment out of it, right? You still knew you were going to get a punishment, but yet you still did it.
Sometimes that's worse than the punishment, but
agreed.
I don't know, you did hold me accountable, but I knew if I lied to you it wouldn't work. I'd be wasting both of our times, and like I knew that I had to be honest and truthful, and
well, your life was kind of on the line.
And my life was definitely
like it was one of those.
Wasn't kinda.
It was on the line. It was
Right.
on the line, and you had reached the point where you wanted to be accountable,
Right.
and you wanted to fix it, and you wanted to live.
I definitely did want to live.
When you came to me and we sat and we talked, I could tell that that you were desperate. You told me that several
Right.
times. You told me 3 times in an hour how desperate you were, and the moment that you were in, and how like this was it. Like this was kind of it. And I was okay with that. That didn't shake me at all. All that told me is that you were going to take this more seriously than I was, which was great.
I did take it very seriously.
Yeah, but that's the only way that I keep kicking that. The only way you get results
Right.
is if you take it seriously. And you had to get to that point. You had to break down to the point of wanting to live.
Right.
That
really did what motivated me.
right. And that's what it takes though. Like for you, and that, that self-control that we all lack. Sometimes that's honestly what it takes. Right. Is life getting that real that we have to do something and literally change the entire rhythm of our day, because it's necessary. It's our life depends on it, and it sucks when it happens, when it gets that bad.
And I also wasn't somebody like that was used to being told no either. You probably told me no more times than anybody in my whole life.
That's funny.
I'm grateful for it though, but if you remember, like, I think I was a warehouse supervisor when I first met you. And
yeah.
I would definitely spend more of my life being in charge. And
right. Yeah, we did. Actually, you know what? I would say the first 6 months to a year, there was an interesting dynamic where I had to speak to you a certain way because you had a lot of pride, I would say.
Oh, yeah, I would say.
But you softened up, but I had to earn your trust. You know what I mean?
Trust is important.
Yeah, but like I can't just tell you how to do things. Like I kind of I have to give you skills, and then I have to test you with those skills, and then I have to show you why they work. And then you have to decide, like, am I going to use this or not? Am I going to benefit from this or not? And then you decide how you're going to do it, and then I can punish you if you don't do it right. Or you can see the benefit and then decide to do it. And I'm a mom too. I don't like saying I told you so, but but I like experimenting with adults specifically on that, because it really is, it takes that honesty within us in order to have it actually resonate in our behavior. Otherwise it's just, it's lost.
Right.
It's lost and it's pointless. You know what I mean? But yeah, it does. It takes someone keeping you consistent, or at least honest with yourself. If
Right.
you can't be that person, and I think most people struggle with being honest with themselves.
And I think like some of it too, like fresh after the seizure too, like there was stuff in my brain that wasn't
Yeah.
quite connecting right, and
Oh yeah.
that probably made it way harder. And
Well, yeah, and there's a buffer, like plus like when you start reprogramming and stuff, like I'm super understanding that like changing your behavior overnight is very difficult to do. Like I get that. I want to try and test you out first. Like we want to give you stuff to do to see how dedicated are you to this? How much do you want to live? Like what are you willing to do? How consistent can you be? And then I have to adjust, based off of what I see you actually do and respond well to.
right.
And then we just kind of tailor that as we go to what your pace is,
Right.
And I feel like it worked really
It
well.
definitely worked, and having the consistency, and somebody to keep me. Why do I keep? I'm getting a little nervous.
No, you're fine.
Uh,
No, you're good.
Keeping me accountable and being real consequences that were there, I could see every week. Because
That's true.
the doctor can tell you that you're dying, and you probably are, but you don't. If you don't feel it, you don't see it. It's not real.
That's true.
So like there was definitely real consequences here, and they definitely really kept me accountable, and I did better with you than I ever did with the therapist for sure. And
Yeah.
because that's a joke, but
Well, it sometimes can be a joke.
well,
I think there are a lot of benefits to it. It's just
it only goes
taking
so
what you
far.
talk about and actually and then actually turning it into action, and they can only help you with so much. And in that regard, yes, it is. They wave at you out the door and say good luck.
Right.
Good luck with your problems. I'll see you next week. So, no, I mean, it is helpful though to talk through a lot of stuff, because in all honesty, like that is the only thing that I practice first with any and everyone, is putting them mentally through the scenario that they think they're ready for, and then testing that and really seeing what they can handle, because people can't handle what they really want to be able to. Most of the time they can't. They get very uneasy, and when you're not sure how people are going to respond, you can't prepare properly. And so it's this job is good in that I like being able to test people at their own pace, because it doesn't resonate unless you are completely honest with yourself and I in this process, and we have each other's backs and staying consistent with the system, that we're keeping in place to help you and, better your quality of life, essentially. A lot of people think that this type of work is, whips and chains and, all the extra accessories and the taboo nonsense, and, it's all the sexual stuff, and everything gets kind of jumbled, and there's the large gray area. And I liked his success story because it is a very regular person, regular problems, not anything fancy or, off the wall, eccentric. It's something that everybody deals with.
And you were you were awesome. Like, you gave me exactly what I needed. Like, I really thought I was signing up to get a drill sergeant, and like that wasn't.
That's true.
You gave me that when I needed it. You gave me an ear when I needed it. Like, we talked about it. Like, when my ex-wife cracked my skull up with the frying pan, like, I could talk to you more about that than anybody in my life, and like I felt better and I understood it better, and like.
Yeah. Well, and any type of violence or trauma that like we endure in our lifetime is going to shape how we're triggered later by those types of feelings, and that is important for you to process. So whether I needed to be partially a therapist and partially a life coach, and then partially a drill sergeant to that degree. The one who was handling the punishment and holding him accountable, those are also necessary. And motivate in knowing how to strategically use them, and then how to motivate him properly so that I'm not re-traumatizing him, or I'm not giving him, more things to run from or be triggered by later. I'm trying to assist with a change that he needs help with now. And being able to differentiate all of that is very difficult to do, but it's a really fun job because there's all these extra things, and every person that comes in has a series of problems and a whole life that they've lived already with all these experiences that I have to decipher and figure out what's affecting them, how can I help, what can we fix in all of these ways that they're being triggered, how are we trying to improve their quality of life, and in what nature can I do that. All of the problems that people come to me with are also different, and I like your story because it's so different than what I normally end up dealing with, and sharing it is a very powerful way to share the impact that I have with a lot of the people and clients that I've seen for a couple of years. And the work that we did, I feel like it is very powerful for you, and it has been, and I'm happy that I was able to help. I think it was very necessary.
I do feel like I was very blessed to get you, because I feel like maybe if I'd ended up with another whatever, like, she might not have known as much as you, like, because you did always know what to get me and what to do.
That's true. I mean, yeah, I think you took a gamble with me regardless. Well, people take a gamble with anyone. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was totally a gamble. Like, and you were on your your last chance.
For sure,
yeah, you really were. You were desperate to some degree, and you were looking for someone to truly help you fix these things.
Truly help.
Yeah. It took a couple of years, but like that, we did get it to the point to where you needed it to be.
Right.
And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of you. I really am. I think that you need to give yourself a little bit more credit.
Right.
I know life is hard, and it's hard for everyone. Like, we're all fighting constant battles that we just don't have control over.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, but you have changed a lot since I met you, and for the better and happier, I think. I see. Anyways. I think the last few years have been very difficult, but you have also seen I think you've seen a lot of positive outcomes that I don't think you would have seen if we hadn't have done the work that we did.
Yeah, definitely, and you definitely instilled some things into me, and like I said, the one that definitely sticks with me is that every opportunity in life it's an opportunity to break you down or build you up, and you can't let it break you down. And like that's definitely the one that stuck with me, because every time something hard hits me, I say I just gotta level up. I gotta build it up. I can't let it break me down.
I get that. Yeah, it is, and that's honestly it's patience, really, but it's taking life one moment at a time instead of looking at your day and just wanting to cry. Like, no, I'm just going to do one thing at a time and get through today, and then I will get through tomorrow, and do it as slowly as you need to do it. And then once you find a rhythm, it's a little bit easier, but it is. It's tricky, and I'm proud of you and all the work that we've done. I appreciate being able to help you and the stuff that I was able to help you with, because I think therapists don't really get to toot their horn about success stories and stuff. I feel like I don't get to either, but in these rare moments where you're gracious enough to share it with people,
absolutely.
I appreciate that.
I probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, like, for sure.
I appreciate that. I think it's great, and I would save your life again.
You have been amazing. You did save my life.
No, that's good. That I do this because of that. I feel like there are a lot of reasons that people need this type of exposure therapy, and they need someone who's
knows what they're talking about.
well, yeah, but caring enough to where like there's a lot of trust to do this type of stuff. And you've shared so much with me. Everyone has, and it really is it's a vulnerable place.
When I switched my seizure meds, and the one time in my life I had suicidal thoughts, and I called you, and you were definitely there for me, and we talked for probably longer than you should have let me, but
it's fine. I get that.
I might not be here like that. It's just from that, like they switched my meds on me, and it did give me suicidal thoughts, and you were the one that picked up, and you were there for me, and I can't tell you how much that means to me.
Yeah, no, it is. It's those moments are super scary, and when they happen to people, I do know how to handle that kind of stuff, and so I was happy to be able to assist when I could.
Yeah.
And when I did, and stayed on the phone with you in we'd had a couple of different moments. We've had those moments where yes, it's a moment, but how I react to it is also going to affect you.
Right.
And I'm very mindful of that. Like when people check in with me and talk to me, it's not, you're bothering me. It's what's going on? What do you
Right.
Are you okay? I'm concerned usually if people reach out, and I've known them for years. I do. There is a part of me that is concerned. Are you okay? If you're calling at an odd time or whatever, is my first, honest question. And then if everything is not okay, then talk to me. I can step out. We can make some time to figure this out.
I mean, there was definitely times you were there when my blood wasn't. Like, if I'd have called my uncle or anybody else, they told me stop being a pussy and probably hung up the phone on me.
Yeah, family sucks sometimes.
Dogs are definitely better than people.
Dogs are definitely better. Yes, that's very true.
Unfortunately.
No, but you're right. You have to, in those moments though, we don't know who to call.
Right.
We really don't. And not everybody answers the phone in those moments. And I've had to answer those phone calls a lot, and
I'm sorry for that.
Well, but I really value that.
Right.
I've valued all the work that I've done in the vulnerable space of being able to help people explore, their vulnerable sides and their intimacy issues and whatever, and not really carrying any shame into that.
Right.
I can't, because I don't have any. I'm not ashamed of other people's problems, and having the skill set to be able to help in a very odd way.
You definitely never made me feel ashamed or anything, but
I don't feel like that is necessary, especially when you're doing this type of work. Like, people are wanting to be vulnerable with you, and they're wanting to share and get these things out of their system. And so I had to be very customer service oriented. I have to present myself like a therapist so that I can get people to open up in an honest way. Otherwise, I can't really do any good.
right.
I mean, there's the surface level sessions that they're coming in, for a specific reason, and whatever that is, you never really know. But there's all this underlying, issues and concerns and expectations and limits, and I really have to figure that out, and I have to balance that with each person, and I have to make sure that you feel valued. Otherwise, you're not going to trust my judgment with anything.
Well, I feel like I trusted you very quickly, honestly.
Oh yeah, I think so. I mean, it took me a while to get a couple things out of you, as far as like just you opening up on like a personal level, like with us having to talk and kind of divulge like a lot of your past and your history and why you react the way that you do based off of, past experiences. Like that took me a minute to get out of you.
Well, that's not very pleasant memories, but like I generally don't like to be vulnerable, but like I said, I always feel very safe, and I feel like I can be with you. And
good.
There's people I've known 20 years I don't feel that way with.
Yeah, that's fair. I can respect that. That I feel I've known a ton of people for a lot of years that I wouldn't share any of this with.
Right.
But it doesn't stop me from doing the work. It just stops me from, screaming it into a microphone every chance I get. Like, it's one of those things where it's a lot to help people on the down low behind closed doors. It takes a lot out of my person. It's very draining energy wise for me, but I value it differently because it's such intimate and valuable and vulnerable work that people need. Like they need it. Like there are people that like you, not like you, all kinds of versions of people that need this skill set that I've provided for several fun years. And I really like hearing from people who I've seen for, a good chunk of time, and us kind of go back and forth and just talk about how we met and how we kind of got to where we're at now, because it helps me understand how much help I've really done. So that's good.
An amazing person.
I appreciate that. I still think a lot of people would argue with you, but I believe you.
They probably don't know you.
Well, even you, like you even know like the mean drill sergeant side of me, but you still trusted me with everything, and and pushing you and stuff, which is really cool. That says a lot. That says a lot about both of us, really, and how a lot of that trust is built.
Well, I guess somebody who's only seen the drill sergeant side of you might not.
That's true. That's very
you're
true.
So amazing, but
yeah. People that only see that side of me, they definitely have a spicier opinion of me.
There's a such thing as a healthy fear. Like you being afraid to fight an alligator is only going to make you live longer. Like a healthy fear is a thing.
That's for true. Yeah, there's a healthy fear of everything. I agree.
Not everybody gets that, and most people don't know what's good for them, let alone have the ambition to seek something out and try to better their lives. But
no, that's totally true. Well, overall, everything has gone. Your life has improved and your quality of life has gotten better, and
it definitely has. Because when I first came to you, they said I wouldn't be alive right now, and not only am I still alive, like I feel better than I have in years. Good. I'm glad, and I wanted to see that. I honestly didn't know when we started sessioning if you were gonna take it seriously or not, and I feel like we made way more progress than I even knew we were going to make, which is pretty cool. Well, I definitely knew I was going to take it serious. I was going to do my best, but I was also in a completely different headspace.
Well, yeah, that's good, but that's what's needed, though.
Right.
That's what's needed to shake things up and actually change that behavior, and that affects a lot. And just maintaining that was really tricky, but it was good. It was definitely good.
And like I really didn't know I would still be alive at this, but I didn't know I would still be here. Like I wasn't sure. Like that's why that's why I sought out help or seeked help or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know.
No, I get that. I know.
And it was scary, and I don't know if I'd be here if it wasn't for you. Like for several different reasons. Like I completely forgot about the time I called you and I had suicidal thoughts till right now. Like even that, like if you wouldn't have picked up the phone, that alone, I might not be here.
Right. Right. And that stuff is super scary and it's heavy. And you know what? It's really sad, but like that stuff is real. Like
It is.
all of it's real. It's our reality. Our reality is sad and depressing and it's hard and it's gonna tear us all apart and we never know when.
Right.
You good?
Yeah.
I wanted to thank you for coming. I know that was a weird question to have you come in and tell me. Let's talk about everything that we've experienced and stuff. But I really appreciate you coming in. I think.
Absolutely. After everything you did for me is the least I could do.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you coming in and sharing your story with whoever ends up finding.
And hopefully it helps them as much as it helped me.
Yeah, I agree. I hope it helps people, and at least opens their eyes to uncomfortable solutions to their problems, because a lot of that ends up being what can help. So I appreciate you all for listening, and stand by for the next, I guess, success story, and I'll update you as we go. Thank you for listening. Every story I tell is a piece of truth we all carry. The lessons we hide, the power we forget we have, and the calm we fight to protect. My work is about normalizing the conversations most people avoid, the ones that make us uncomfortable, but also make us stronger. I believe difficult subjects deserve clarity, not shame. And I'm here to help create that language, one truth at a time. If this episode made you think, breathe, or feel a little braver, please subscribe and stay close. You can find more of my work or my workshops and upcoming events at mzhaze.com, mzhaze.com, or follow along on Instagram at mzhaze5280. Until next time, be deliberate, be dangerous with purpose, and never apologize for your presence. Thank you.